Kind of like those things in videos where you do a little fuck up and then it's the intro music and then it's on, you know, made me feel real. Maybe this is it. Hey guys, I'm Andrew from StageMilk.com. Today we're looking at online casting profiles and specifically casting networks profiles. So if you haven't heard of casting networks or you just don't have it for whatever reason, you're silly and you should get it today. Now, casting networks is one of the big players in the online casting world, and having a really great online presence is really important. So what we're going to do today is go through everything you need to make sure your profile is as good as it can be. Your headshots, your showreel, your CV, your accents, you know, sorting out all those, the nitty gritty of what makes a great casting networks profile. So why don't we dive in? Alrighty, so here we are inside of Casting Networks. Before we dive in, I just want to show you how mine is currently looking. I think it's good to see an example, and in this case, a very bad example, I think, of a few things that are going wrong on my current profile. As you can see, this is what a casting director will see, and my credits not been up to date. My last job here is 2013, in fact. I've also got two quite old headshots in place, and as you saw from the intro video, I now have very long hair, and here I am with really short hair, and there's one where I look very weird and clean shaven, which I don't do very often. I've also got down as Armenian accent, which is, you know, I'm pretty good at Armenian, but it's not an accent I really need to be having on my account, and isn't really helping me there. Really more important to have American and the accents that you commonly use. So some really obvious mistakes. I've got no reel, no voice reel. So it's going to be a great example to see how I can update this and really get it cranking. So let's dive back to the online portal. You can either click edit here or the image, and that will take you to the sort of back end. Alrighty, so here we are in the back end, and as you can see, you can sort of just hover over things, and it's really nicely laid out. There's big edit buttons, which we'll go through in a sec. And this is really where you make all your changes from. So the first thing that's most important is your headshots. Let's just click here. When we were making this video, we chatted with Laurie Records, who's a casting director in LA, really great casting director, and she couldn't emphasize enough the importance of your headshot. So a few things she mentioned. It's got to look like you. If you've had a major haircut, like I just said before, you've got to update your headshot. Every 2 to 3 years is a good sort of rough amount of time, but it's different for everyone. It's always good to have a bit of variety. 2 to 3 images, maybe something that shows a bit more lightness and something that's more dramatic or more serious. But I would say within that, it's not good to show too much of a mix of age or like wildly different looks, because you can be putting forward a kind of strange, you know, you want to be fairly unified in what you're putting out there to the industry. And the final thing that she mentions is really important, is that your best headshot has to be your thumbnail, because that's going to be the first thing that everyone sees when they're scrolling through for casting. So make sure you've got a really awesome headshot as your thumbnail. And so when you want to update your headshots, all you need to do is just simply choose a file and then find it and upload it. There can be some issues with sizes, so just make sure it's not either too big or too small. But otherwise, it's really straightforward, and they have a great approval process, so don't be stressed that it hasn't gone through. It just can take a bit of time sometimes to get approved, so just give it a day or two. That's headshots. The next most important thing is having a really great reel. It's really simple to add a reel. We just simply add it to your media, and then you can just kind of drag it in like that. Very user-friendly for the reels on this platform. A reel, you know, it's the first impression of your acting that a casting director is going to get. So there's 3 points that I want to just quickly chat about. First of all, keep it short and sweet. Casting directors just aren't going to watch a 2-3 minute reel for, you know, in most instances. So it's best to just keep it really concise. I always recommend putting your best work first, you know, and capture them right from the start. And that's what a lot of casting directors talk about as well. And the third thing is just to not overproduce it. You don't need to try to, if it's something you're filming with a company, you don't need to try to make it feel like it's from a TV show necessarily. It's really just about putting your acting forward in the best way possible. So that might even be in a kind of self-tape format. As long as the acting is really good, I think that's what really matters. So keep it short, put the best stuff first, and don't worry so much about production values, but more about quality of acting. So next up, we're going to have a little look at your CV. Just click edit here. Again, really easy to use. Just sort of add in your little bits of information here, click next, and it's all broken down into film and theatre and TV as well. I think the important thing with CVs is to be really honest. Don't just put in a bunch of fluff. Don't put in work that isn't professional, extras work, and things that just trying to just fill out a CV. People will just see right through that. So keep it honest. Update it often, as you saw from my bad example at the start. It looks really bad if you haven't worked for, a few years, and especially if you have been working, you're just shooting yourself in the foot for no reason. So keep it updated. And there's nothing you can do if you haven't got the credits. So don't panic about that. You have to be honest. And there's so many examples of actors getting work that don't have experience or don't have a lot of credits. So don't get too caught up in trying to fill it out or fluff it out. Just make sure it's honest, and as you keep working as an actor, you're going to slowly gain those credits and gain the career that you're after. So there you have it. There's sort of the three elements which I think are the most important, but there are a few other parts to your profile. Your skills, which include sort of accents, which is a big thing. I think my main points here are just to be really, really honest. Definitely don't say you're an expert at something that you're not, because you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot when you get into that audition. So only put the stuff you're genuinely skillful at and feel confident performing. That's the same with sports, singing, all those sort of things. Your experience in terms of your training, I would definitely put in your drama school training, and really, some great workshops or courses that you've done, but I wouldn't go crazy putting in every single workshop you've done. It can start to look quite amateur if it's sort of, weekend camp here, a few days here. I think it's just better to keep it succinct and only the sort of major stuff there. And then obviously really great, people do miss out on roles for this stuff. So really keep your, how long your hair is, your, things that are changing in your sizes and stuff like that. Especially for young actors, who are going through a lot of changes, it's good to keep updating this stuff, because you can miss out on roles because you were too tall or too short, or, they needed someone with long hair. And you really just never want to annoy the casting director. You want to make it as easy for them as possible. And so when you've got this platform really up to date, it's great for them, which means they'll get you back. The only final element here is a voice reel. That can be a great thing to add, especially if you're interested in voice work, but it's not really a priority for actors or for most actors. But if you've got one, definitely add it there. It's really easy. Again, just add it through media, and then you're up and running. So there you have it. They're sort of the core elements. What I'm going to do now is do a few updates myself, and then we'll have a look at the new and improved version, and I'll talk you through why I think it's better, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so here we are. This is the new and improved version. We've got my reel up here, which is a new scene I've got, so I think that's going to really help me, having that there. New headshot up as the main thumbnail, and I've also kept some of the old headshots just for a bit of versatility, as we spoke about, because I do look quite different, I think, with, as you can see here, with and without facial hair. So for the time being, I'm going to leave that with the both there. We're seeing some 2017s here in the CV, which is great. It's just much more current, and it looks like, I'm actually out there and working in the industry, which is really important. You could even potentially get rid of some of these older ones as well, is a suggestion. If you are getting, if you have got a lot of credits, just so it looks really current. I've also simplified my skills, so just the accents that I'm really confident in and that I'm actually probably going to be seen for. So that's really important. And I've also just simplified my instruments, my vocal range, and some of my sporting abilities, just to really streamline it all, and kept my just my drama school there. as it was. So there you have it. There's no real secrets to it. It's just about making sure it's up to date, it's honest, and that it's kind of taking that little step outside of yourself and just going, am I putting myself forward in the best way that I can? So I think making these little changes could really, really make an impact on your career. So it takes 20 minutes, half an hour at most. Go out there and do it today. Well, there you have it. Hopefully you got a lot out of that video. You now have no excuse not to have an awesome Casting Networks profile, and I will be checking up on you. And if you like this video, check out our other videos, subscribe, check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. You know how to do it. Find us, StageMilk. We love to interact with you and learn more about our audience and our visitors. So connect with us, and thank you again.